Thanks for joining us on Morning News today on this 1st of November. Now, knowing your HIV status is vital.
Getting tested for HIV is just a simple pinprick.
And the pre and post counselling is just as important.
Well, Sister Cynthia Yeko from the Right to Care Health Services joins us now here on Morning News today to explain how the test works and the counselling and everything that comes with it. Sister, good morning and thank you for your time. Very quickly, why, the whole morning we've been hearing about why it's so important to know your status. Simply, why is it so important?
Well, knowing your status is important not only when it is negative or when it is positive, but when it is negative as well. Because then if it is positive, then you'll be able to know how to take care of yourself. Then because HIV has become a chronic illness, amongst other things, then you'll be able to be given treatment. So if you know that it is only when you know that you'll be able to be managed.
To get on with your life.
Yeah.
Okay, now just take us through this testing process. We've heard about how important it is to know your status. Now, we've just walked into your clinic, your Right to Care Center. What happens? How do you deal with somebody who walks in and says, I want to know my status?
Well, first thing is that testing is voluntary. So you would voluntarily come in to test. So the first thing that we will be giving you is a consent form that you are allowing us to test you. So you are not forced to be testing. And then we will go through the whole process of confidentiality, that we are not going to be sharing your results with anybody, but it is your results. But unless you give us the permission that we need to share your results with anybody, if there is a need, then that is the only time. And then the another thing that we will be going through with you is the information and finding out about the knowledge that you have already about the HIV virus, and all the information, and then you'll be given an opportunity to ask questions if there are any things that you are
that you want to clarify.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of things, a lot of people might be deterred, Sister, thinking that you're going to ask them about their sexual behavior or ask them about just what they've been up to. I don't see any kind of questions about that on here. I mean, just to allay anybody's fears that you're gonna ask very probing questions on these.
Well, there's too many questions to ask.
Yeah.
But we would not be able to put everything on paper. But the counseling session is tailor-made to your needs. And if you come as a client, and we will first find out about your sexual behavior and stuff like that. Okay. If you're a married person, and so it is tailor-made to your needs. So we wouldn't be able to put everything on paper, because then we would have a booklet. Okay.
Okay, the pre-counselling has been done now, the form has been filled, the knowledge has been shared, information has been acquired. What happens next now? Is it the time for the prick after that?
Yes, after the pre-test counselling, then we go through the process with you, and then we tell you the type of tests that we use. Under normal circumstances, we will have two different suppliers of or the brands, so that if it is positive, then we are able to confirm immediately that if you test positive, then the other test also agrees with the other one, but you still have to go for a lab test if there's a need.
Okay, this is just a rapid test.
Rapid test.
And how reliable are they? There were questions a few years ago about the reliability of these HIV rapid tests.
They are very reliable in the sense that they are 99.9% sensitive and accurate.
So they've been improved over
time. They have
time.
been tested.
But you still have to go and do a full comprehensive HIV test.
Well, we can confirm. We can confirm with these that you are positive.
And of course, if you have a different result or something.
Yes, if they don't agree, then we would have to go for the lab testing.
Okay, so within how many minutes do you get your results on these?
Within between 15 to 20 minutes, then we'll be able to get
Shall we do
the
it?
results.
Okay, let's just get it over.
Who's going to be the first one to test? Okay. Is it ladies first?
I'll take one for the team. Okay.
Okay.
So which finger?
I think it's very important. Very important that you get to know your HIV status. Earlier, we were speaking to an HIV specialist who was stressing that as well on our program this morning. Yep.
Okay. So this is the test strip.
The test strip, okay.
That we use, it's a determin.
That's where the blood goes on?
That's where the blood goes on, and then we'll use the buffer.
I don't know, a lot of the time, I don't know if we'd be more afraid of the actual result or more afraid of the needle, I'm not sure. I think I'm more afraid of the needle.
I guess many people
don't worry, it's not painful anymore, it's 2015.
Promise, do I get a lollipop afterwards?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, which finger would you prefer?
You can use that one.
Okay, let me just tell you what to expect on the test. Okay, let's just use this.
What is that?
So we will put a drop of blood here.
Okay, that's the tube.
And then we will use the buffer, the reagent, and then it will move to the end. And then when it is negative, we expect to have a control line because that validates the test that it is valid.
Okay.
But if we don't have the control line, then it means that we need to repeat the test because then the strip is not valid. But then when it is positive, then we will have another line on the patient side. So when it is positive, we will have 2 lines. But when it is negative, we'll have just 1 line on the control.
I've done other tests like this, but they weren't HIV tests. But
Was that
We won't talk about
we
those
won't talk about
tests.
those tests, okay.
We'll talk about this important one for this.
Now, Sister, we've also been hearing this morning a lot about young South Africans who we see the numbers have tripled over the past 15 years of HIV infections. In your experience and where you work, do you see a reluctance by young people to come in and get tested? Are you seeing that happening on the ground?
It's on and off. We do see people coming in, but there are people that are still reluctant to come in because maybe of their sexual behaviors.
Because they are
Or they must-
suspicious, or they are...
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ah, that wasn't so bad.
It's not
that
bad.
wasn't
I told
bad.
you, it's
No, thank you.
2015.
Yeah.
That's the
There
drum
goes the
class.
blood into the tube. And I think, I don't know about everybody else, but regardless of, I mean, I had a test done a month ago. It was for another wellness day, but regardless of whether you know your status or you still feel nervous.
Yeah, I mean,
Always. Yeah.
Always.
I mean, there are many people, depending what the purpose is, that always an HIV test is required nowadays in South Africa for insurance purposes and for other health. So we tend to do them now
It's
and
for
again.
various
But
reasons.
it's important to do that HIV test to know your status, particularly the young people, as we've heard, between the ages of 10 and 19 across sub-Saharan Africa. The numbers have tripled in the last 15 years. So, you know, you need to do it. And and as a sister, Cynthia Yeko said here, that it is confidential and you get the pre and post counselling. And, you know, as specialists say, there is treatment nowadays, but it's important to know your status. That is why we've decided here on Morning News today to do a live test so we can show you how easy it is to go through the process.
Your turn.
My turn.
Okay,
He thought he was going to
just
get away with it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just put that
Okay,
there.
we'll wait for that one.
Okay. So we'll have your clean needle.
Yes,
Have
it's
my,
the needle.
oh, yes, that's very important.
Very important that we don't infect people.
And a lot of people also, Sister, think that it is about sexual behavior, but it's not always the case. I mean, contracting HIV is, you know, there's various methods of contracting HIV. So what are some of the other questions you ask people about? So, say, for example, did you recently help somebody who was bleeding, or did you recently come into contact with, just give us
With
some
bodily
idea.
fluids, especially for people who are doing drugs. So if there have been like sharing needles, so that would be another high risk that would be worried about, that they would have contracted HIV. But you know, the rape remains the highest risk.
So in
because of
reporting
forceful-
rape as well, these tests are done immediately?
Yes, we do, and then they are given treatment just to prevent the
Even
the
if there isn't,
conversion
okay.
of
Yeah, because we know about window periods and...
I did not open that. Yes.
Partner, you don't have enough blood there.
The older you become, it becomes scarce. Huh?
Okay, do not press there.
Okay.
Okay.
That.
That was not so bad.
That wasn't
Not
bad
very
at all.
tiny prick.
Yes.
I think that technology has
Like you said, it's 2015.
It's 2050, like I
2015.
said, so nothing is like 1980.
Do you find that at the right to care centers you get busier around this time of the year, sister? Because World AIDS Day is here and there's campaigns, everybody's talking about them, advertisement stuff. Or do you find that throughout the year you've got a good stream of people across age groups who come through? I'm not talking about those who've been raped, I'm not talking about those, just generally.
The ones who are conscious.
Yeah, the one who just want
Conscientious,
to know.
let's
Do you
put it
find
there.
that you get that stream of people coming through today?
We do get busy when it comes to HIV, but throughout the year we've got corporate testing, we've got private business that we're doing with different companies that invite us to come and do the whole wellness, including the HIV. So we are busy throughout the year.
Okay, well, that's good news to know at least that centers like yours, the Right to Care Health Services, do get people
And are
coming
seeing the
through.
good responses. And I think it's also very important, Sister, to emphasize that, you know, HIV, AIDS knows no race, class, earning group, that kind of thing. It could happen to anybody, and I think we
can
need to
happen to
stress that at
anybody.
any time.
Yes, it can happen to anybody, so nobody should be sure that.
Okay,
it will happen to
you'll
you.
be sharing our results with us in a short while. We're not going to do that
Are
live.
you going to share that?
It's
Well, I don't
confidential.
mind,
No,
but
you will
we-
share them
you-
with
you
us.
can
But just as we finish our
Yeah.
chat here, Sister Yeko, can you just, from an appeal perspective, as a health professional, what would you say to young South Africans who may be watching us now who are not sure how to handle this issue of HIV/AIDS today?
Well, it's important for everyone to come forward and test. It does not matter how young you are, but as long as you have started getting engaging in sexual activities or drugs and so on, you need to come forward and test, because it is only when you know your status that we'll be able to help you. And that if we tell you, like the Minister of Health announced that the life expectancy has moved up to 61 years with HIV. So those are the only people that have tested that would be able to guarantee that they can live up to 61 years
Okay, so
with HIV.
early intervention will save your life, could save your life. Thank you very much, Sister Cynthia Yeko from the Right to Care Health Services, doing our test for us this morning.